Well, I was very fortunate that I had Mrs. Hague as a teacher. Junior year of English at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. And right away, I was just amazed by her. She clearly smart, classy, and it just right away I felt like she cared about her students, cared about me. I felt that I learned a great deal from her. I always enjoyed English, enjoyed history, and the way she taught the class, just her style, really made an impact.
She really knew how to teach, not just present material, but how to break things down so that students knew how to master each little aspect of a skill.
Michalene was my English teacher. And at first I thought she was quite strict. She had very high standards. And over time I realized that all she wanted was to get the best out of you and to make sure that they did their best work. She wasn't afraid to be critical of what you thought might be your best work and challenge you to drive it one step further. But what she taught me about, perfecting the craft of writing in particular was superb.
She is an amazing teacher. She is able to reach all levels of students. She is kind, she's compassionate, she knows her material, and she's able to relate that to her students.
She would give you the opportunity to do either a book report or to kind of do a performance. My friend and I decided we were going to do a little recreation of The Old Man and the Sea. So I did it at home. I was 18 at the time, or 17, 18 years old at the time, and I had my family as members of the cast. We did it at my house. We had a lot of fun with it, and we presented it to Mrs. Hague, and she played in the class, and we had her hysterically laughing. But I think she made it interesting, and you were eager to go to class because of the way she taught, and she wanted to make the students enjoy what they were reading.
We had read a short story, and she had asked us to write our own short essay on a subject matter that was much deeper than a typical 10th grade student was willing to explore. And I wrote this essay called Splat, which is the thoughts of a person as they dive off a building before they hit the ground. I did it as sort of a joke, but as I got into it, I was thinking about all these things. What would you think about? What would you? And I wrote them down. And I remember her scoring that essay and her comments. To this day, I still have that essay. And she told me at that point in time that I had a gift for writing that nobody had ever told me before, and that stuck with me.
On the last day of school, senior year, two of my friends and I decided to be rascals, as much rascals as we were, which, we were very nerdy, so, it wasn't anything exciting. At about 4:30 in the morning, the three of us piled into my car with a boombox, lounge chairs, and a bunch of food. So we showed up in her backyard at about 4:45 in the morning. We set up chairs as if we were by a pool, played the boombox, at top volume, and woke her up. So we were laughing our heads off in the backyard, and we see this face in the bedroom window up above, with curlers and pajamas and whatever. She opened the window and she's looking at us like we just escaped from a mental institution. And she said, "Hi," because in a million years she would never be impolite. That's just not in her nature. It is just a great example of her personality. Anyone else would have screamed bloody murder, "Get out of my yard, what are you, wackadoodles doing," and whatever, but she is always nothing less than polite and gracious. And there's your anecdote.
Michalene, you are respected, remarkable, amazing, kind, strong-willed, knowledgeable, passionate, and devoted to education in the city of Peabody.
I think of the impact that teachers like Mrs. Hague make, and I know the impact Mrs. Hague has left on the city of Peabody because I was one of her students, and she definitely impacted my career, impacted my life. But I think of what how a teacher can impact a person through motivation, inspiring, just their teaching, being there for them when they're having a hard day. You know, those moments are so important to a child and so important to a student. And teachers like Mrs. Hague have really left an impact and made a difference in people's lives. And there's not many professions like being a teacher that can do that, can really have that impact.
The thing that came to mind as I was thinking about Michalene and getting this award, you know, when we originally conceived the idea of the George Peabody Legacy, we were looking to pay tribute to the unsung heroes. And, you know, the definition of an unsung hero is really somebody who goes in there every day slugging and isn't looking for the glory and the honor. They're looking for the satisfaction of doing what is best for others. So they don't always get those accolades, and they don't always get that feeling of being the hero. But in my mind, Michalene Hague is a hero.
I've been privileged to know Michalene Hague for 40 years now. First as her student, then as her colleague, then as a parent of her students, and finally as simply a friend. And what I can tell you after all this time is that Michalene is the finest combination of all three types of teachers. Having the knowledge in English as well as the related humanities fields, plus the personality to engage so well with adolescents, plus the emulation-worthy behavior of a morally upright, conscientious, and fun spirit all rolled into one classroom authority figure is just so incredibly rare. Luckily for the city of Peabody, literally thousands of our high school students have been personally impacted by Michalene in one way or another. And the Peabody Education Foundation's members can be sure that their choice to honor her with a Legacy Award tonight is the smartest decision they could have made. Congratulations, Michalene, you so deserve this.